NFL draft is in the books. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. And what is going on with Shannon Sharp? That and more next on Good Sports. One year in, and we have over 100,000 views. We are so appreciative for everybody. Please hit that subscribe button. Come join us. We appreciate everything. We are now just getting started with year 2. Thanks again for everybody for joining us. I am joined alongside Trent Sneed, Cameron Harkleroad behind the scenes, and also Drew Goode. And we are excited to get going. We have lots to talk about, but we have to start in the NBA. The NBA playoffs are ready and they're going, and it is interesting basketball right now. We've got Golden State, as of the time we're talking about this, is up 3-1. So you have a 7 over a 2 right now. You have the Lakers down 3-1 against the Ant-Man and the Timberwolves. And so
just Ant-Man.
Just the Ant-Man. Yeah, he is doing it. LeBron's not doing as well so far in this series. But I wanted to hear with the Warriors, they've got Playoff Jimmy is back after getting hurt. What do you think? What first things first, which team is most likely has the best opportunity to come back? Or do you think they're both done? Do you think the Lakers are done? And do you think the Rockets are done? Or does any team have a chance?
Rockets are definitely done.
Rockets are
done. They
done.
lost a game without the Warriors didn't even have Jimmy on the team or even playing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rockets are definitely finished. I will say the Rockets have done a very good job to make it to where it's going to be really hard for the Warriors to win following series after this. I don't know if you've watched any of these games, but the Rockets are beating the living breaks off the Warriors. It is a physical game, and the refs are like, let it play. Let it play. Yeah. I'm just, with their age, it's hard to say if they're going to be able to play multiple series like this with how hard the refs are letting them play. Yeah. I'll just say that.
I think, well, you got the Rockets are the leading rebounding team. They're a physical team. That's how they play. The only thing I would say for the Rockets, I think it's unlikely that they're going to come back as well, just because you have a couple superstars there in Golden State. But all those games have been close. Yeah. They're coming down to the wire. And last night you had Houston missed 13 free throws, I think, in the game. And you have Butler, who shoots 62%, went 12 for 12. Yeah. And it came down to a one-possession game. So if you're Houston, you hold your hat and you say, you know what, we make 4 free throws, we win that game. We just need to win game 6. That you just got to win game 5. You got to win a certain amount of games, and you just take one game at a time. But
yeah, isn't it at Oracle though? I think it's in Oracle.
I don't know where it is. We'll have to look into that. But what we'll do is, I think it's going to be quite interesting to just see how things go forward. Is our Golden State going to have, any, especially Jimmy Butler, is he going to be sore from what he's going through or whatnot? Is he going to have any backsliding? I don't know if that's a good pun for what he's gone through. But
he took a good one in the Tukas for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that fall looked horrible. Yeah, absolutely horrible.
He didn't just sprain his butt. He sprained the whole cheek.
But he came back. They said something that he can't even move, and then he plays that night. Yeah. So what kind of super drug do you think he had?
We call that steroids.
Yeah. Cameron, what do you think? You got Golden State. Obviously, they're on fire. They're doing their thing. They've had a really good last maybe month or two in the season. What do you think? Do you think Houston has any chance? Or do you think the Lakers have any chance of coming back?
I think the Rockets have more of a chance than the Lakers, but I don't think either of them will come back just because I think LeBron, as much as I don't want to say it, I think this might be his last year. I think there's a very good chance he retires. I think there's a good chance that Steph retires in the next couple of years. That's... Like, there's going to be some people in the next couple few years that start retiring that it's just going to be like, oh, these are the people that I, grew up on, like Russell Westbrook.
The Derrick Rose one was so hard for me.
Derrick Rose, that killed me because he is probably my favorite player of all time.
Yeah.
That was tough.
It was crazy how like in like basically 1 year he just captured us. And I mean, just I don't know. I wore Derrick Rose.
He was
Adidas
unbelievable
shoes
rookie.
Derrick Rose ones were my first ever basketball shoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He came out and he was the first time a point guard could ferociously attack the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was ferocious.
He remade what it was to be a point guard.
Yeah.
Because it opened up the lane for point guards to be 6'8", 6'9", you know?
Yeah.
And now we have point guards like LaMelo Ball, who's 6'7".
Yeah.
And just, you know, it's super cool.
So we also have going on right now, Thunder are dominating. The Cavs are dominating.
Cavs dominated.
Yeah. I mean,
My boys out there in Miami didn't do what we done thought we'd do.
You don't have Jimmy Butler. I'm surprised.
Maybe done,
Hey,
darn,
you
doon,
should
don.
be happy you even made the playoffs.
No,
without
yeah, no,
Jimmy
we're
Butler.
blessed. We're blessed.
Yeah.
Heat up.
Well, I think there's questions going forward. Stephen A. Smith brought it up. You know, is it time for Pat Riley to
No.
step down? I thought that was overplayed.
Yeah. No,
No.
absolutely not.
Pat Riley's a legend.
No.
But
Pat Riley's a legend, and they couldn't have a better coach in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Miami Heat teams, they're fine. They have young talent. They need a superstar. They don't have a superstar. If they get a
What do
superstar,
you
they'll be
mean?
good.
They have Bam Adebayo.
Well, they got Bam. And
that's
Tyler
not a
Hero.
superstar, though.
Not a superstar.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's got like 3 All-Stars.
So, and then Giannis. Is this going to be it for
Well, he
him
doesn't
over
have-
in Milwaukee?
I'm the cupo.
No.
I think he'll stay, but this is the time that he could actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so is that, you guys think that'll be the last time he plays in Milwaukee, or do you think he will resign and stay in Milwaukee? What do you
I
guys
don't
think?
know.
Depends on how much money they give him.
He
They're gonna
only
get- they're gonna
ever
get cap-
stayed because Dame Lillard went there.
They're going to get cap space because Dame's going to retire. After blowing his Achilles, he's not going to play anymore.
You don't think he'll come back? I don't know why he would. His
Yeah.
career's only been on downwards trajectory at this point.
After like 2018, 2019, whatever that
And you got to
finals
think, coming off major injuries, it is a year-long process.
Yeah.
And he is worth
For them-
so much money.
not necessarily, but yeah.
It's stupid money that they make.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, when you like break it down, these guys are making $1.5 million, and this doesn't even count in all the sponsorships,
Yeah.
a week.
Mm.
A week.
A lot of them.
And when you're doing this for years, think of having $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
and then next week you double it.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks later, you double. That's insane, the money that they have. So coming off of these injuries, why? You know, you either have to have something inside of you that just says, I will, and I can't do, I don't know. I think Damon Lillard, he's done enough. He's done enough. So we'll see.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Boy, you can make an argument for it. I don't know. What do you think? He's to me borderline. The problem is, even though he's very clutch, he did have some moments in the playoffs, but they've really never gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And usually Hall of Famers have done something in finals. You know, and he's
never even played in a finals.
No. He's never really come close.
Yeah, but I don't
This
think
is the
that
problem.
necessarily
It shouldn't define you because
define whether or
it's
not
a
you
team
make the,
sport.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
Carmelo Anthony never got a ring. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean he's not a first ballot Hall of Fame.
But what they're going to say, though, with Damian Lillard, what they're going to tell the world is he was a superstar of a poor market. You know? And that will just be the narrative that they'll put on it.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna pull the card of he was a loyal teammate till the end, like through and through. You know, playing for
I think
the
you
Blazers
give the media.
for that
I think you give the
long.
media too much effort or too much
Credit.
Too much credit.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to these sort of things, the media likes to ham it up
Yeah.
and make the players look better a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So they're gonna say that he was a team player through and through. He's loyal. You know, he stayed with the Blazers for however long, 10 years or so, 10, 15 years. carried them all the way through that whole time he was there. Had no help the whole time.
He definitely had no help. I mean, we thought C.J. McCollum was his Robin, and then C.J. McCollum goes over to the Pelicans, and we realize, he was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Lillard was a stud for a good period of time, and he was an ice in the veins type of player. But let's get back to playoffs. Okay, so here we are in the playoffs. I want you guys to predict, who do you think is going to make it to the finals right now? Watching what you're seeing, leaving your, the best you can, who your wants are. These are not necessarily your wants. They could be, but who do you actually think will make it to the finals?
I don't want to say the team that probably is going to make it because Boston just put an absolute smackdown on the Magic.
Yeah.
And I hate Boston.
Okay.
I can't stand Boston.
I'll just let you go.
The only positive thing that comes out of Boston is the coach told Jason Tatum to stop being a weenie and get up.
No.
That was the only positive thing that's happened in Boston in the last 20 years.
When he stops him and says, stop, just get up.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that before in AAU basketball. I have a friend of mine as a coach, and I said, hey, is that player okay? And he's like, just get up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The Nuggets are struggling with the Clippers, and that could be one of two things.
I thought the Clippers would
either
win
the Nuggets aren't as good as we think they might be this year, or the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard's just that guy, and he's finally getting back in it.
The Clippers were like the hottest team going into the playoffs.
I know, that's what I'm saying. There's two stories to that, and there's no telling which one's the truth until we get to the next rounds. I don't think I'm willing to say the Nuggets or the Clippers are going to be making it very far. I'd probably say my bet. Man, it's hard for me to believe that with the way Anthony Edwards is playing that they're not going to make it to the finals.
Boy, I hope he has an opportunity. I think it's going to be the Thunder, and I think it's going to be the Cavs.
And I'm going to be honest with you. That Timberwolves team is terrible without him. Yeah. I mean, Cat doesn't even know how to play defense whatsoever. What is that about? Or not Cat. Sorry.
He's gone. But
I'm thinking of Rudy Gobert.
So
Gobert was never good.
Yeah.
Mr. COVID.
I think one thing is when you're a superstar, which Ann is considered a superstar, it's hard when you are alone to go far. You do have to have your Robins around you. And it is hard. And so I don't know if they can keep making it. The Thunder are a deep team, and they've looked really good. And I think right now they're destined. Now, if they go against Golden State and and there can be an injury or two, because that can happen. A lot of times teams make it to playoffs, Western Conference Finals. I've seen injury, and all of a sudden you get to the finals. So, things are looking very positive for Golden State's up 3-1. They can be playing against a team. I mean, they would have much rather have played the Wolves than the Lakers before the series.
Yeah.
Until they see Ant-Man. Then they're going to say, why did we want to do this? But that's who I predict. Who do you have in the finals?
Give me Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics.
Okay, Cameron, what do you think? Who's going to be in the finals?
OKC, and it's tough.
Pacers?
I'd love to see Halliburton. I mean, he just hit a clutch
game winner. They're playing pretty good.
He just hit a clutch game winner in overtime to win today.
Yeah, and
they kicked Milwaukee off.
They beat Milwaukee 4-1.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so you're not predicting Milwaukee.
No, I'd like to say the Cavs. I'd love to see Spida get a finals appearance. And I mean, if any year is the time to do it, now is the time. And also just the nostalgia factor of seeing the Cavs back in.
How impressive! I don't think
playoffs.
Anybody thought we'd see Cleveland be this good post LeBron James.
Hey, shout out Donovan Mitchell.
Hey, Donovan Mitchell is that guy, though.
And
I love
how
that
many
guy
of us thought
so
that
much.
Mitchell was going to be that guy?
I did. I've known since he was second year Jazz that he was that guy.
No, I didn't.
He is.
You wonder why I always drafted him in our fantasy leagues? He's that guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I tell you, that is a team. That is a team. So
he is more Tatum than he is Curry.
I think he's his own player.
We'll see how it goes in the finals if they make it there. So, okay. So, Cameron, you hit on this a little bit. I want to talk about, we've got some studs, all-timers that are coming to the end of the road. It's going to come at some point.
Yeah.
How much longer does LeBron James have and Steph Curry have before they hang it up? There's a difference from could they still play to when you think they'll actually hang it up. What do you guys think?
I give it a week. I mean, I don't know when Steph's gonna go. The problem about Steph is his game just is so translatable to an old age. You know, like at what point? I mean, he does move a lot. Like that is one of the things about Steph, that he moves a lot. But at some point in his career, he could just transition to being a spot-up shooter.
Well, they're now taking him out in defense.
Yeah.
And so he's offense, defense at the end of the game. They're actually removing him, which tells you not that he was ever a great defensive player, but they usually kept him on the floor.
Yeah.
But what do you think? How many more years?
I don't know. Steph, 2 to 3.
LeBron?
2.
2?
Max.
What do you think, Cameron?
I think the problem about LeBron is you're saying, I think he really wants to win a championship.
He does.
I think he really wants to win a championship.
And
with
he
his
sees
son.
Luka right now.
And he's got Luka, and he understands that like there's a real possibility.
And Austin Reeves.
Yep, he's got Luka, Austin Reeves. I think there's a
Yep.
real possibility.
Yeah.
That if you get Luka in the right state of mind in the offseason, you get LeBron coming back in healthy, and you just take the minutes back for LeBron, let Luka basically drive the regular season, and then you put it full force. I think there's a real world possibility where the Lakers could win a championship.
Oh, yeah. And what they need to do is they need to get a big, you know, some defensive, presence a little bit.
Anybody. Just get a guy just find any guy on the street that's 7'4".
I know a guy that's pretty tired of wearing green.
Mr. Undergoompa.
Well, that would be. I don't think they can afford that, but
Gumbo.
But
you could always the nice thing about
that
basketball.
would be not a fair team.
The nice thing about basketball is you can always just pay the extra money.
Yeah, we said that about like the 2019 Warriors.
That's true.
With DeMarcus Cousins and all that, and we sucked.
Didn't he tear his Achilles?
I don't
whatever?
care.
That was tough. So, Cameron, how long do you think they have? Do you think they'll go out together? That's a question.
No.
Okay. You think Steph's got maybe 1 more year or 2 more years than LeBron? Because I see LeBron playing 1 more year depending on how next year goes. If next year is a first round, maybe second round exit, I think he's going to say, I'm done.
How old is Bryce?
Bryce would be eligible for the draft in 2027, I think.
Is that far away?
Yeah.
2 years?
I think so.
Oh, the Lakers will draft him.
I think he's a senior in high school.
Well, they're eligible right out of high school. They don't have to go through college.
They have to go 1 year in college.
Yeah, they have to go 1 year.
1 year in college.
Yeah. Or
when?
Or they can go to a G League or they can go to another league or whatever and then come back. But
I thought that was only football.
No, they
sorry. Bryce will be eligible in 2026. He's a senior this year.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So he's a senior this year.
Yeah, they can enter the draft class right after high school.
No, they have to do 1 year in college.
LeBron did.
Yeah, that was they changed.
There's multiple people that have done that.
They changed the rule. Who was
the
the last person? It was someone that is recognizable.
I don't remember who it was.
It was LeBron, and then it was someone after that.
Yeah, but they do have 1 year.
Yeah, they have to do 1 year. He's committed to play for Arizona right now. He's a 3-star recruit.
He's better than
3-star.
He's better than his brother.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. He can be a 2-star. Lakers will draft him.
Lakers in 5.
I love how we talk about this like this isn't the same thing with like Shador.
Well, whoa.
Well, we might talk about that later.
Stay tuned. We've got some to talk about. Okay, Shador at least had some completions. We'll talk about that. Okay, so NFL draft was crazy. The night, I mean, that is always something going on that is like one of the biggest things of the year. Each team, this is when you make or break it, and each team does their thing. I want to first start talking. I want us to talk about our teams a little bit and what you guys think how you think they did. And we'll start off with the Super Bowl champion Eagles, which I'm sure you like hearing a lot of. So how do you think the Eagles did? What are your thoughts? You have now a whole offseason where you have the free agencies, and now they've kind of completed it with the draft and some undrafted free agents. There's a little bit of stuff that will still continue to happen, but what do you think about the Eagles? Do you think they're better today than they were the day after the Super Bowl? At least roster-wise.
That's a hard question.
Because you don't know chemistry, but like personnel.
This is the hard thing is like we lost one starter on defense, two starters on defense, and one starter on offense.
That's pretty good. That was called Tuesday for the 49ers in the offseason.
But the offensive player doesn't really matter much because he actually wasn't the starter. Someone else was the starter, and then he took the role because the starter got hurt. So I think that's not really a big deal. Tyler Steen will fill in for Mekhi Becton just well. I don't think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, losing him at safety is going to be tough. And then, I think we'll be okay. I really like our draft, but are we a better team necessarily? I don't know if you can say on paper we're a better team. I think on paper we're probably close to similar.
About the same.
Yeah, about the same.
You filled some gaps. Were you overall happy with the draft? Did they go in the directions that you were hoping for?
I think there was 3 talents in the draft that were the type of talents where you can do a lot with them. You have Abdul Carter. We've talked about him a lot. You can move him around all over on the field. Jalen Walker, we talked about him a lot. And then I didn't think that Jihad Campbell was even on our radar. But I understand why now that we went back and looked at the film.
Oh, I saw lots of him.
Yeah.
He's good.
He is good. And actually, he was a 5-star. He was the highest recruited defensive end in his draft class or his high school class.
Wow.
Number 1 defensive end. And then the Alabama converted him to linebacker because he was so good at it.
Do you think they'll move him around?
You know what Micah Parsons said? Micah Parsons, when he got drafted, he was like, man. He's like, they only ever move defensive ends to linebacker if they're smart. So I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good idea to know that,
Yeah.
It sounds like he's maybe got some injury history.
Yeah.
That was disclosed to maybe the football teams, and obviously the Eagles didn't feel like it was that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I like our draft. I was a huge fan of Andrew Makuba out of Texas. So huge. He is literally Chauncey Gardner-Johnson reincarnated. He is a small little guy who will just knock the brakes off somebody. So I like that pick. I thought that was a great pick. The rest of our draft, honestly, I could care less.
Okay.
I just none of the players that I would have picked in the rest of the draft were picked. So
okay, so your mock just didn't go the way you thought it would go.
No.
But it still can be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like for the first 3 rounds, you have guys that you personally are in love with.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're like, oh, I like that guy. Oh, I like that guy. But then when your team picks someone, you're like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
I saw their name on a draft board one time.
Go Johnny.
Yeah. But if you think about it, in the first round, kids get drafted in the first round that we thought were 3rd round grades.
Yeah.
And then you got to think that same concept happens in the 6th round. So kids that we thought were undrafted or going to go undrafted got drafted in the 6th round.
Yep. Some kids that thought were going to go in the 2nd or 3rd round go in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
It happens both ways.
So it's difficult to say oh, I really love this kid out of Alabama when he might go completely undrafted, but he was on the top 20 big board.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
You have no idea how they screen.
Yes, exactly.
And that determines everything. That's what happened with Shador.
So Cameron, what do you think with the Chiefs? What are your thoughts?
I think we did good. I think we filled spots that we needed, especially with that first pick, Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
As long as he stays healthy, keeps healthy, he's going to be great. He's kind of exactly what we need.
Yeah.
I really like Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
I think that was a great pick.
Yeah. I hope
thanks for giving him to us.
I hope his knee can be okay, because if he can get back, he might be the best offensive lineman in the draft. And they took 4.
I don't know. It's hard. It's going to be hard to beat that kid just went to the Patriots.
That Campbell?
That kid looks scary.
Campbell does, but Campbell has the only problem with Campbell is
short
his short arms.
Oh, no one cares, Randy.
Who cares?
You know what he said? He said, "Listen, when I didn't allow one sack for the last 4 years that I've been playing,
And that's
no
true.
one said a word. But all of a sudden, I'm getting drafted. Short arms is a problem. I don't care. That guy has so much
nothing.
dog in
It
him.
means
It's not even
nothing.
funny.
So here's the thing. You can blah, blah, blah and get loud, 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 but there are facts, facts, facts. And here are the facts, facts, facts. Nobody in the NFL has successfully been at the top of the game with short arms, okay, as a tackle position. All the tackles have longer arms. Now, it doesn't mean it can't happen. There's very, very few. So that's why they were worried. But he is great. And he has dominated at the SEC, and he has done extremely well. However, there is some metrics out there that do show that players with shorter arms that are great tackles become guards, and that could happen for him. I hope it doesn't. He's excellent. He's got strong hands. However, there is caution. I mean, there's always a shorter quarterback. Drew Brees can do things, and they say short quarterbacks can't. You know, there's a time where they didn't have running quarterbacks, and now running quarterbacks are everywhere. So it could happen, but that's the concern with Campbell.
All I'm going to say,
Because you have defensive linemen that defensive ends have long arms.
he has it.
He's a dog.
Remember when we were
He's a
standing here?
dog.
Remember when we were standing here a year ago and we were like, I don't know, something about that Anthony Edwards guy. He's got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Will Campbell.
You
I
think-
listened to like him talk for like 5 seconds, and I was like,
yeah.
that guy's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it.
I hate the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys took him too early, but Booker is a dog.
Tyler Booker, yeah.
Tyler Booker is a dog. He tries to hurt you, and there's certain now he doesn't have the lateral movement and all that kind of stuff, so we'll see how he does there. But I think Campbell was a great pick by the Patriots, and I mean you got to protect your quarterback, so I like that. So what else? Anything else you have, Chiefs?
The linebacker out of Oregon, he's gonna do well.
Oh yeah, he's
Jeffrey Bassa.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Which we need linebackers.
Yep.
That's
And I think
good.
I
That's our
said in
weak
our
spot.
draft thing.
Yeah.
I think I said in our draft thing that you guys lost your linebacker, but I actually looked it up. Nick Bolton stayed.
Yeah.
I didn't know he re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great news for you guys because he's a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got
I think the
two-
Patriots did well with some of their things, but I think the Chiefs. Oh, they seem to always draft pretty good though.
We do everything good.
Yeah, that's why they're there. That's why they stay at the top.
That's how you
why
keep
they
on
stay
going
at
back to
top.
the playoffs every year.
Mhm.
Do you guys think that? Josh.
We make the Eagles pay for a pick that no one else wanted, and they gave us a free pick just because.
You know,
and we
you
got
know.
a, we
Oh,
got a
did you
running
look
back
at
out
who
of it.
you got? And you got like a 4th or 5th round pick for that, right? For
Yeah.
just moving back to see what you need to do is look to see who you got for that pick.
Yeah.
We got a
And
running
watch
back.
to see how he does.
We got Brashard Smith
Yeah.
out of.
So
I think
what's
that's Arkansas.
you know what's funny is
and if
the
you didn't
Eagles.
want him.
The Eagles actually tried to trade at 24 to pick up Jahad Campbell.
Yeah.
No one would trade with them.
Mm-mm.
They trade 24. They tried 24, 22, 26, 27, 28. And
They
no one
tried
would
every team. and
Yes.
That's
Chiefs
why
were
I'd
like,
love to be in
"Sure."
the room. Wouldn't it be so cool to be in the room and then they get him and they're like, "Thank you for
Howie
not-"
Roseman said that one GM didn't even take the phone call.
Really?
Yeah. They literally just didn't want to trade with him because it was Howie.
Because they won?
Because it was
Oh,
Howie.
because they're like, crap. The team that always fleeces me is calling me,
Yes.
so I'm just gonna say no.
That's so screwed up.
That does suck.
That's so messed up. But that's why they ended up making that trade with the Chiefs.
Oh.
Because they got basically they tried to trade with every single team before them.
They were trying to trade up to get him, and
Yeah.
they ended up
Did you
trading
think we-
back and still got him.
Well, this is the thing. If you think about it, if you're the
That's
Philadelphia
classic.
Eagles, right? They were willing to give up like a third and a second,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you get to 31 and the Chiefs are up and you're like, you might as well give up a fifth,
Yeah.
right? You might as well just to secure it.
Yeah.
If you're willing to give up a third and second for one guy,
Yeah.
you might as well give up a fifth.
Yeah.
And they said that Jahad Campbell was top 10 on their board. And they thought if we can get him at 20, that's double the value right there.
Oh, I saw him go as high as 14, 15.
Yeah.
And I saw several in the 20s around Denver, although Denver, I was surprised they didn't take Hampton. But Anyway,
and obviously the Chiefs
good pick.
did end up drafting a linebacker, so it's not impossible that the Chiefs would have taken him.
Yeah,
but we didn't draft a linebacker till late.
Yeah,
he was our 6th pick.
I would just say for the Eagles, they probably just got to the point where like, well, we were gonna give up a 2nd and a 3rd for him. We might as well secure it by just giving up a 5th.
Right.
You know, and not risk the one more draft spot.
Yeah. Anything else more with the Chiefs or off-season moves, whether it's free agents or whatnot? Do you think they just overall? What grade would you give them, Cam, for their off-season?
We still gotta fill that center position.
I know what that's like.
Replace Creed Humphrey, which is gonna be tough. I'm assuming because they didn't draft someone, at least guard wise or center wise, that they have someone in mind already.
That's what we don't know. Yeah, because a lot of these, especially offensive linemen, they put them on the practice squad.
Yeah,
and for a whole year. And then they come back year 2. And we always think you got nobody, and then boom, somebody's doing well.
I would assume that they have someone already.
Yeah, it could be.
By them not drafting someone. The only thing that I am a little worried about is the Rashee Rice stuff that's going to come up this year that didn't come up at the end of last year because of the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
So did they say how long his suspension was going to be?
They didn't say if he was going to get anything yet, but they said that if he does, it's going to go into effect this year. So I haven't heard any news.
I haven't heard anything about it either.
But I have. It has been on my mind a little bit.
How about the Falcons draft? How do you feel about that? They got 2 studs, but they did give up a lot.
They gave up a lot. I think for this year, it was a great draft. If you're talking,
they drafted like the Texans did a couple years ago.
They drafted really well. They did give up. They don't have a first round now. I mean, they gave up a lot, but I thought they did way better than last year.
Yeah,
I mean, they took a weakness and it became a strength.
I don't understand how they ended up having to give up so much.
I was shocked at that too.
Because
I think it's I think it was desperation. That's what I think.
Well, it must have been because Houston gave theirs away for a lot less than the Rams gave theirs away.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I think the Atlanta's a little more desperate than the Texans were.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So for my 49ers, I mean, we lost more than anybody lost. And last year, they were 31st in the league in run defense. They were terrible. And we didn't even have defensive tackles. You know, you're like, I want to improve this starter. You're talking about losing one guy. We didn't even have players. Like, we needed to get somebody a jersey. And so they did really well on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we were 31st in the league with the most injured offensive players. And we did jack to try to help. So I think the defense will improve a lot. I'm really happy with that. I'm really frustrated they did nothing for the offense at all. So we'll see if Brock Purdy can even survive. But they did improve a lot on the defense. They did just take the Chiefs' old tackle, DJ Humphries, from 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. They just signed him. Kittle just got re-signed to a 4-year contract that's really a 2-year contract extension. So I'm happy about having him. I mean, he's going to be a 49er for life. That doesn't happen very often.
Nope.
So that was cool. So I was happy about that. But we'll see how things go going forward. Seattle had actually a pretty good little draft. I thought they did some really good things. So we'll see going forward. I would have liked to have taken the linebacker from Georgia in the first pick. I think he's going to be an absolute stud, but we did take probably our biggest need. And so we'll see how that goes.
The Ravens.
Malachi
Starks and Mike Green.
Yeah, man. Those safeties at the Ravens, don't throw deep on them.
You know who did really good?
Oh.
Seattle.
Yeah I like the Nick
Seattle.
Imawari pick.
Dude, Jalen Milrow, that's a dog.
They took Zabel. That was exactly who we said here they would take. It was like clear cut.
Yep.
And they took him. They needed a guard. They got a guard.
They got the second coming of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. The second coming? Think so?
Jalen Milrow? Oh, yeah.
You like him. Okay.
Well, I don't like him, but he just plays like Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay.
That's his style.
Yeah.
Did you know that his offensive coordinator at Alabama told him that he didn't want him playing quarterback?
I could believe that.
Oh,
The offensive coordinator was like, "You shouldn't be playing quarterback."
that is not going to age well.
Yeah, it's really not. Did you see his quote that he said about like all the, in response, like how he feels about all the other quarterbacks that were drafted before him?
No, I didn't see it.
Pardon my French. He said, "Belt to ass."
Oh, no.
That was his quote.
Wow.
That's his quote.
Wow.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
This is the same guy that has a clothing brand that says Link.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Let a naysayer know.
Well, all right. So now I do want to address, because I think it was a huge topic at the time. The NFL draft, who's going to be the number 1 pick. And Shadir Sanders, not only does he fall, and he is not the number 1 pick, which a lot of drafts, if you went into January, he was number 1. Him or Cam. It's 1 or 2. And then it was like, okay, maybe he's going to fall to 3. Maybe it's going to be 5, 9. Could be as late as the Steelers at 21.
He was the 6th pick.
You know, yeah, in the 5th round. It's so here this guy falls, and so you have, it's such an interesting storyline because it's Deion Sanders, one of the loudest guys in the league. I do like Deion Sanders, but he is one of the loudest, most famous, one of the top players, and I think we almost had him on a Rushmore. I think you and I did, Cameron, as one of the greatest players. So you've got his son coming out, and then he falls, and then he gets pranked on the 9th pick.
Mm-hmm.
And is it Jack Olbrich, the son of
Jeff?
Jax.
Well,
Jackson is the son.
Is the son that did it.
Jackson
so
is the son.
Jeff's son.
It's Jeff Olbrich is the coach.
It's just Jax.
And he
Oh, Jax?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
Jack Olbrich. And then he says, "It's been a long wait, man. We're going to take you with our next pick right here. You'll have to wait a little bit longer." And he's like, "Wait, what?" And then a little bit longer ended up being like 48 hours.
My question is, were the Saints even up when he made this call? Because that's what I didn't understand.
Oh, man, that is brutal. That is brutal. Not only does the guy not go 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, 70, 90, 100.
166.
166.
Oh, 44. 144. Sorry.
Okay. And then to top it off, what's Cleveland doing? I mean, they are a terrible franchise, and I
That
get
quarterback
that.
room
Now,
is a mess.
I love the fact that their trade right off the bat. I do think that was really good trading back. I thought they got a bunch for that, and that will be helpful. Other than that, they do know that you don't need 5 quarterbacks on a team.
Yeah.
They've got old man Flacco.
Yep.
You got Pickett, right?
Kenny. Super Bowl winning.
Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl champion.
Bringing
Kenny Pickett.
Bringing that swag over. And then you just drafted a couple people. I mean,
Dylan Gabriel.
And yeah, they got Gabriel. They got Sanders. They got.
And you're forgetting about the number one.
I'm forgetting the guy that's never going to play again.
Massage
He's
Watson.
going to open up a parlor. But, but anyway, it is, I don't know. What do you think Cleveland's thinking? I mean, in some ways, I get it because you're getting such what is considered a great value in the 5th round. But how do you give reps to all these people in the preseason?
They are throwing darts at a board.
Yeah, and they're just going
to. I think based off what because the GM of the Browns was asked about why he did that, like afterwards, and the I don't know if you guys saw the video of the war room, Cleveland's war room, when they picked Shador. Oh, that guy just looked like
they looked miserable.
He looked miserable, and they were like, "Why'd you look so sad?" And he was like, "It's just been a long weekend." Blah blah blah.
They're always so happy, except for that pick.
But I think what he said, he's like, we just like to have a competitive, environment here, and we're open to starting whoever we think is best fit. So they're gonna have
hear me out.
Let's be honest, 3-man race for starting quarterback. Joe Flacco's not starting, but
yeah. Here's the deal: Shadur's going to be the starter,
probably.
And this is the reason. This is the only reason
better.
I get there. Dylan Gabriel, it's just god awful. I watched him play in tough games at Oregon, and he was not good whatsoever. I watched him play tough games at Oklahoma, not good whatsoever. He just crumbles. in the spotlight.
Well, and how much do you think jersey
Shador
sales
would've,
is going to
too.
matter? Because Sanders will sell jerseys.
Oh, he'll sell.
So,
a lot of
so
jerseys.
how much do you think that'll matter? Because I think that will matter.
For every TikTok kid? Yeah, it's gonna matter.
So
This is
The
the thing.
Browns
Though,
are going to be hated even more.
I mean, Kenny Pickett has a chance to maybe start,
Yep.
but he's
a Super Bowl champion.
this is the problem about
He
Kenny is
sucks.
we know
He
what
carried
he is.
Hurts. He
sucks.
carried Hurts.
He sucks.
We know what he is, and that's the problem.
Yeah, we've seen it before.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, they're not going to
Kenny's
start
too
Joe
good.
Flacco because his age.
Yeah.
We know who Kenny Pickett is. We know that Deshaun Watson's
We know
never
who
going to play a
Deshaun
game
Watson is.
again. He's never going to play
No.
another game again.
No.
And Dylan Gabriel, I think he's really bad. So I'm like, what are you
Come
gonna
on down, Sanders.
do? Yeah,
Yeah.
he might have been picked 5th, but he's gonna probably go number 1 for them.
I feel for Sanders didn't go to the best place for him. Number one, the franchise is a joke. 2,
You know where he would have been really good
He
at?
doesn't have a strong arm. You don't want strong, weak arm quarterback. He's not weak, but he's not a strong arm quarterback.
He would have solved
Cleveland
a lot
would
of
be hard.
issues for you out there in San Francisco.
No, brother. Do you think Sanders will make it?
No.
No,
No. Okay. All right. I think
just
we got,
like Johnny Manziel.
I think we got 3 people that are on this. We're 3 for 3 on. I think Sanders.
yeah.
Sanders
gonna
is a
struggle.
bum.
You guys, hey, you know what I was thinking about the other day? Because I was thinking about all the quarterbacks the Browns have had.
Mhm.
The GOAT, Colt McCoy. Remember Colt McCoy?
Oh yeah, Texas.
Yeah.
Wasn't he Texas?
Texas.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was a stud. And even the Browns ruined him. He was good.
Hey, they haven't ruined all their quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, Baker's still out there. My boy Baker.
Money Mayfield.
Well, one more story of I thought was
You ever been to the Cheesecake Factory?
one more thing I want to talk about. The Steelers' first round draft pick, Derek Harmon,
Yeah.
who I think has a chance to be a really good player.
Yep.
I think that was a great pick for them. You saw he was emotional with his family. It was really cool. And then just shortly afterwards, he goes and tells his mom, "Hey, your son got drafted."
He goes to the hospital.
to the hospital
Yeah.
and tells her, and then she dies not long after.
Yeah.
Man, if you ever wanted to root for somebody, Derek Harmon has gone way up the list. I can't imagine the emotional, like once in a lifetime moment, and then your mom dies.
Mm.
I mean, I feel for the guy. That was absolutely terrible. For the Steelers, I hope they just, I'm sure they will. They'll surround him, his family, and whatnot. I can't imagine going through that. It's also so public.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about it. He's going to be asked about it a million times. My heart goes out to Derek Harmon. And his family. That is bittersweet. If I've ever.
And it's easy for us to say, but what a blessing for her to know that her son was drafted.
How cool was that?
Yeah.
That was really special that he was able to tell his mom.
Yeah.
And have at least that moment. It was almost like she was, able to let go at that moment. And but anyway, all right. Wild story here with Shay and Shannon Sharp.
Club Shay Shay.
We've had this conversation before where he had a little live.
He had a friend named Michelle.
Yeah, he had a friend, Michelle, and it went live. Whether it was staged or not, it doesn't matter. It happened, and we all became part of it. I'm more curious right now with the new things that have come out and the allegations, and he has now released some of the texts that I'm not even going to say on air what they are.
I don't think they should even be on social media in general. I mean, it's rough.
It's really, really rough. Shannon is such a face that whether he's guilty or not guilty, where do you think he goes from here from a career standpoint? Do you think that he is going to be able to recover from this or not? Obviously, if he's guilty and it comes out that he is guilty of these things, it's his career.
We're so forgiving as a society. There's no telling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the thing. It's like, if it comes out that he's not guilty, I think he'll probably be reinstated pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't agree with the tactics in which he lives his life.
Yes. His decision making and
yeah.
I
mean, it's just I
what
mean,
a wild story.
It is crazy.
Wow.
I mean, there's things that they said to each other that I think you wouldn't even say to someone you're like gonna go fight a battle against. Like your enemy.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't say it to your enemy. But he's saying it to someone he loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or cares about.
Do you think it's smart that he stepped away? I mean, he's kind of...
I mean, I think the only thing he did smart is he jumped on it pretty early and said, this is what's actually happening.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a shakedown in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion, right? It's definitely a shakedown in some way, shape, or form. And it might have been her plan from the start.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Does it still hold water? Kind of makes it, the way it's been said, it kind of feels like it still holds some sort of water.
Yeah, it's really hard because you wanna believe someone when they're saying something, because you want to give their voice the ability that we believe you first. Because if you always say they're lying, nobody's ever going to come forward. So you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but then shouldn't you also do that on the other side? It's innocent until proven guilty. And so it's really hard, but I don't know about all that kind of stuff. I hope the truth does come to light.
Yeah.
But
this is what's difficult.
Wild story.
She said there was 2 SA times in 2 years. And they were together. They were in some sort of relationship for 2 years, and there was only 2 instances that were SA.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The whole thing is like, you're saying that there was a 2-year relationship, and out of 730 days, 2 times you were unconsenting.
Yeah, especially with, what makes it questionable, and that's why Shannon Sharp released these things. Yeah, is he's saying, "Come on now, really." Yeah. That's his argument, and I think it was smart if he's innocent to do that. But
I mean, what is innocence?
Yeah,
I mean, here's the deal.
None of this was innocent. None of these texts were innocent.
Yeah, none of the texts were innocent. But this is the problem I have with the whole situation, right? She could basically one of the reasons that she's saying she was SA'd is because he didn't use protection, and she told him to use protection. So just because someone's not using protection, you ask them to use protection, you can now, after the fact, or
you should
afterwards
have said no. Then no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And is she saying that he said no, we are, and he forced it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. A lot of it just doesn't add up in the manner of which it seems like she was unconsenting in the moment.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if it goes forward or if this is a settle out of court type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to settle. They will settle.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you always settle because it's not worth it.
Yep.
Both sides don't want to stay in the fight.
Cameron, what are your thoughts on this? Do you want to stay out of this and plead
I
the
don't
fifth?
have any thoughts on this.
Cameron doesn't want
Unk's a freak. Those are my thoughts.
They definitely freaks.
Unk is a freak.
Yeah.
He's a single man.
I don't think that Shannon Sharp should have a platform in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't put out anything worth anyone's time. He is a he's something to point your finger at and laugh at. He's not a real newscaster. He doesn't. It's any of the things that he talks about don't have any meat in any of it.
No meat and potatoes.
It's just empty-ended journalism, and it sucks, and it's boring, and it's overdone, and I'm tired of listening to Shannon Sharp.
I like that. Those are some big words.
So
big thoughts.
He's had an interesting little couple years. He had obviously his friction and whatnot with Skip. But right before that happened, he had his dust up there in L.A. On the court, and that was pretty. Didn't make him look good. He did come back and apologize for that, and then he's had a couple of these things recently where his personal life has become very public. Yeah. So we'll see how things go forward for Shay going.
I think it's just another example of CTE.
Possible. Definitely possible. With some of the text messages that I saw, definitely possible.
Late onset CTE.
Yeah.
It's the most common thing in football. I mean, you just get trauma, your brain gets just beat up, and you lose all of your normal senses. I'm sure he was also shooting up roids during his time.
Oh, yeah.
Back then? That was just the time and place back then was roids were coming out, and everyone was using them.
Well,
he was just over the top, bigger and faster and stronger than everyone else. And
it's a shame we're not using them still today. Anyways,
hey, did you hear about the new league that Barron wants to make?
no.
They want to do an Olympics with people that can use steroids.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so in for this.
Wait, say that again.
Barron Trump
Yeah.
is heading a program which is basically roided up Olympics.
This is genius.
It is.
This is genius.
It's so good.
Oh,
This is worth every dollar.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you see what they're trying to say during the inauguration when he went up and he leaned over to Biden and he just looked at him, and they have lip readers, and I'd have to remember what he said, but he just said something like not that these were the words, I'll have to look it up, but I'm coming for you or something. It wasn't I'm coming for you, but it was
Barron Trump did that?
to Joe Biden. Yeah, during the
Suck it,
inauguration.
old man.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
fun stuff.
So you think Shay Shay's
He should be indicted.
You think he'll make a comeback, or do you think this is going to be the beginning of the end?
No, he will. Sadly, he will stay employed by everyone who watches him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with Cameron. I think there's no meat and potatoes to most of his journalism. So would we be okay without him? Yeah.
He yells a lot. So
does Pat McAfee. There's 30,000 people that yell all the time.
I do love
It
Pat,
doesn't
though.
have to be it doesn't have to be Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
Stupid lisp.
Thank you, Shay, for all the news that you've been putting out lately. But we hope that things calm down, and I hope that everything works out and honesty prevails.
Yep. Amen.
Anyway, all right. Well, we've got a lot going on. We got the NBA playoffs are just going to get more and more intense, and so looking forward to that going forward. And we'll be talking a lot about that. Again, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate everything. Every time we put something out, you'll see it. Hit the bell. And please add comments. If you don't agree with what we have to say, it's okay. Add a comment. We love it. Sometimes we laugh when we see it. Sometimes we agree and you hold us accountable, or sometimes, you might see things the way we see them. But anyway, we appreciate everything, and we will be back next week, and we will see you soon.